when I started this project, my original name for the channel was gonna be Musha Shugyo. Musha Shugyo is about traveling for improvement. If you haven't seen the, I talked about it in one of the Musashi Studies videos, but that is like the samurai's quest to travel for improvement, to kind of test themselves by going to different gyms and testing themselves against different opponents, different schools. At that time, you were looking for, there were secret techniques. You could have secrets. Nowadays, jiu-jitsu, you know, most stuff, if you use it in a tournament or something, it's most likely going to be on video, so there's less secrets, you know? So during Musashi's time, there were secret moves, and especially the shuriken, the art of throwing the sword, was a secret technique that Musashi knew for a long time. Anyway, point is, this video is about traveling to Rio de Janeiro, the birthplace of jiu-jitsu, but it's more than that. It's more of a travel video that's gonna kind of give you a little perspective. I really want to help change the way people think of foreign countries in general, because I think a lot of people in America, a lot of the news media and whatnot will demonize all these other places that we go to. And as you'll see, most of us had a really, really good time. Yeah, for this video, I decided to interview 4 different people that were on the trip to kind of give you a wider perspective of things and wider perspective of what the trip was like, and get their experiences as well as mine. Saying it's a good combination of travel, photography, and a little bit of jiu-jitsu. So enjoy.
In jiu-jitsu, most people want to take that pilgrimage to Brazil one day, to Rio de Janeiro, to the heart of it, to the birthplace. You know, we all hear about it all the time, and all the best people in the world are from this small city in South America. So everybody wants to go there. However, you always hear about it's dangerous, or you don't speak the language, or you always hear about death and destruction on the news, and all these like really things that make people very apprehensive to take these trips on their own. And so I want to provide a avenue for people that don't speak Portuguese, have never been out of the country, don't know how to book a flight, don't know how to get all this stuff taken care of, and you know, I'm going to help them to make their dreams come true and experience the same cool stuff that we got to experience here recently.
So I packed my bags and some of my favorite toys, and before you know it, I was meeting the guys at the New Orleans airport. If you're new to this channel, one of the things I like to do is photograph random strangers. So I started with the girl sitting next to me on my flight to Panama.
I wanted to go on this trip because, well, a lot of reasons, but mostly, you know, being a jiu-jitsu enthusiast, there's obvious value in going to, you know, the motherland, the place where it came from. There's just no substitute for that.
I wanted to go on this trip to, first of all, get out of the country. I'd never been out of the country, so it was my first time, so that was super exciting.
Flying in was amazing too, because just the way the place is lit up. And it's not just one, what was neat about it wasn't just one uniform color of like yellow or white lights. It was multicolored lights. You know, different shades of blues and yellows and reds and greens. It looked, I mean, it was beautiful. It was captivating, but it looked, you know, it looked almost artistic.
Being this well-traveled guy that I am, I completely thought my automatic time zone would update on my phone, and it didn't. And so we had a plan to meet in the lobby. I started getting calls on my phone, and people were like, hey, we're here, we're waiting on you. And I'm laughing because I'm like, why are they in such a hurry? We got 2 more hours. And so me and Ashley laughing and taking our time. Oh, we came out teasing everybody and being like, why are y'all so early? What's the problem? I don't want to hear anything from any of y'all. Blah, blah, blah. And I didn't. So like now I know in future situations that if people say like, if I know I'm at fault, I'll just go on the attack. Because I was totally guilty. And then it dawned on us that we were guilty. And we're like, oh no. So then we all piled in our transportation and we rode from the airport to the place.
Oh, so before I went to Rio, I would say, I guess I thought it was a lot more dangerous than it actually was when I got there. Because a lot of people that I come across will, you know, especially before I left, if I would tell them I was going to Rio, would be like, oh, be careful, you know. And you just hear a lot of news that's like talks about the bad stuff that's going on there. But when I actually got there, it's really not any different than any other big city that you would be in. Well, when I first got there, I was super excited just to look around, see the beach, and I definitely was ready to like check out the jiu-jitsu gyms and kind of see what it was like there, how different it was. I definitely felt more comfortable going out of the country with a group of people I know, and just especially who are involved with jiu-jitsu. It just feels very, you know, comfortable.
I feel like I need to get a fucking massage after all those flights, man. Sitting like this.
One of the first restaurants we went to as a group in Brazil, once we got there on our first day, we took a hotel in Ipanema. Similar to, you know, Brazilian steakhouses here, like Texas Day Brazil and stuff like that, but it just, you could tell it wasn't forced, you know, it was really good food, super big portions, like man, I think everything was for 2 people, but just as far as the pricing goes or anything like that, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better price.
That's just a better way to do that. And it builds community, builds connection. It was just fun. I really liked it. They had the music up on the music notes up on the wall and on t-shirts and stuff that you could buy. Yeah, there was this plaque outside said that I think they wrote the girl from Ipanema there, or they invented bossa nova there, or I don't know, some significant musical event occurred, according to those folks anyway, at that restaurant. It was kind of fun to try to figure out too, just, you know, I mean, this happens when you go to any foreign country, but basic stuff about how and what they eat that is just a mystery to you. We figured out what we were calling it Brazilian sawdust. It starts with an F. It's something made from a cassava plant. It's like a flour. They toast it and mix it with some spices and some smoked meats and stuff, and you kind of put it on everything. But we didn't figure out like what that stuff was until I saw it on the menu at a restaurant on like the second to last day, and Googled it. And I'm like, that's the stuff we've been eating all week, wondering what it is, where it comes from, and what you're supposed to do with it. We were just kind of putting it on everything.
I got to love it.
Yeah, it was good.
It's called farofa. It's a cassava plant or corn flour mixture.
It was notable just how, and I guess I kind of expected this, but you don't really know it, and I mean, you don't really understand it until you experience it. Just how large that place is in terms of the number of people, and how it's just very organic. You know what I mean? It was not. It did not come about through a sort of central planning process. You know what I mean? Kind of just sort of from the bottom up. And there's, I think, 6.5 million people in Rio. So it's a huge city. And so in that sense, it's like a lot of other big cities you might have been to in the United States. But then it's very, very different because, like I said, it's just seems to be a sort of more of a naturally occurring phenomenon, if you will, than what you would get, you know, at a big city on the East Coast here, you know. So it was similar and extremely different at the same time.
we're getting settled in. You know, the cool thing about where we were staying at in our suite or condo, whatever you want to call it, penthouse, it's like the whole 11th floor. You remember, it was awesome. We were able to walk through our first training session, which was Felipe Costa's academy. Probably 10 to 15 minute walk. And it just at a place you just wouldn't even think where a jiu-jitsu academy would be at. Just kind of turning the door, walk up some stairs, and walk into a small room, but small room full of great people. You know?
The first day was a Friday, and we walked to Felipe Costa's to their open mat, their Friday night open mat. And we went in there, and I felt very welcomed, and I would say the training was very good. So Josh and I have been dating for just over a year, and yeah, we train pretty much daily together. It's definitely a different vibe that you have to kind of get used to training with your partner, but it's been really good for both of us. Like, we find a different type of vibe while we're training than versus, like, you know, at home. Just like sharing something so intense and, you know, like hard to do is real. I don't know, it's special. It really is. I just enjoy having that bond with each other and something that we really are passionate about.
If you're not familiar with who Felipe Costa is, he is a very, very special individual in the fact that he was one of these guys who gives hope to a lot of other people that struggle with competition, because his story, or what he's known for, is never winning anything at the black belt level until he won the world championships. So, and that's what was so great about it, because he had lost so many times. Like, so that's the fact. He kept the faith. He wasn't one of these guys who, like, came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, no, he was known. You know, a lot of people will say, like, I'm not good enough to do this, or I'm not good enough to do that. And then a guy like that comes around and had never won anything, never won a gold medal, period, and then won the world championships, which is by far the hardest thing to possibly win in jiu-jitsu that there is. And the guy has just amazing jiu-jitsu and is a great character. And I think the reason that we were able to make that connection was because a long time back in the day, Felipe Costa and a lot of the lighter guys in Rio de Janeiro wanted to train together and get better. And some of them were on different teams. And sometimes in the past that has shied people from training together because they're on different teams. But Felipe Costa didn't feel this way. Ricardo De La Hiva doesn't feel this way. And Eric doesn't feel this way. And so Eric and Felipe trained together because they were similar size. And that's how we were able to get this great opportunity.
After we finished training at Felipe's, we had to go get Acai.
We went to the world famous BB Sucos. So for people who don't know or speak Portuguese, BB's is drinking, and Sucos is juice. So BB Sucos drink juice. That's basically what it is. And at these places, they're basically sidewalk cafes, and everybody thinks that they've had acai if they've been to tournaments or Samazon or all these different places. And look, I like that stuff. It's good. but it is not the same as what you get in Brazil. It's just not, and I don't know why if they can't import or export it, but the acai bowls this place are amazing. They're the best in Rio.
You know, with everybody that says like it was fabulous, just such a smooth. I've had acai all over the country, you know, in the United States.
What's up, guys? In the city, in Rio, we just finished up some training at Felipe Costa's, and then we got a little food at BB's. We got like a really good juice and some burgers. Got some acai too. Always gotta get a little acai when you come to Rio, and especially after trans jiu-jitsu. So we'll see what else happens. I think I actually got to meet through the gym at Felipe Costa's. I actually met a girl named, she's a brown belt, named Maria, who is offering to show me around. She's going to show me around tomorrow, and we're going to do some photos of people on the street. I'm going to definitely hang out on the beach tomorrow. Yeah, so lots of stuff to come. This is only the first day here. All right, guys, lots to come.